Hi champions, BB here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you Cobb once again. We gotta finish what we started, guys. We talked about epics, and now it's time to give some love to the rares. Cobb, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing extremely good, and I'm hyped that we're starting off with the Sylvan Watchers and all of like the lower factions, like the more like modern factions in Raid. They tend to have much better rares, you know, than the older factions. So I think we're gonna be spoiled for choice for some of these factions, is what I will say.
Oh, I think so too, man, and I'm very excited to see what you are picking today. Using my promo link, you can get yourself free Bambus 4-leaf today, and once you get to level 15, Ugo, and all you have to do is sign up for a brand new account using that link. You can find it in the description box below or in the pinned comment section. And if you sign up today, you're also gonna get yourself free Alice the Wanderer on your 7-day login. If you use the promo code Monkey King, you can also get yourself free Sun Wukong, and that's 3 free legendaries and 1 epic who is actually a legendary in disguise. You guys snatch that promo code offer while you still can, and thank you for supporting my channel doing so. And let's get right into it, I say. Let's waste no more time. Immediately, right off the bat, Sylvan Watchers, I have my pick. It is Kate, Pathfinder Kate. She is just... Man, she's really cool. First of all, look at her cool character design. She's very mysterious here with the eyeshadow. I can't see her eyes. It looks like she's looking into my soul. Guys, on her A2, she attacks all enemies with a 30% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on each target by 2 turns. Given it's a random skill, you can't lock them all out, but it is on each target, and it is by 2 turns, and that is on a 3-turn cooldown. So imagine an Alice type of lockout, but budget. This is what Pathfinder Kate is, and here on her passive, she gets a veil placed on herself whenever she kills an enemy. Sorry, God, I don't know what happened there. So there, a little bit of stealth action, but I really like Kate for that lockout. And on her A1, she also places, has a little chance of placing a block buff debuff, again for 2 turns. Quite a long time. I like Kate for this. Yeah,
like she's a strange one. She's not even what I would have considered, to put it like that, you know. But that A2 is so unique for a rare champion. Just the Sylvan Watchers faction in general, though, you're kind of spoiled for choice. Like, I could go for Ingrid. He's insane in a stun set. It could be like predictable and go for Tree Shield Not, like best rare reviver champion in the game. Even Lasser's not completely bad. I think my pick is probably going to be Flannan. Good old Bowsmith Flannan. This guy's absolutely insane. If you check his in-game reviews, they're completely out of control, by the way. Like, I know people rate rare champions more high. They give them more leeway because they're so accessible, you know, but like, what was he rated in Hydra? A 5? Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, it's ridiculous, but he's very good. His A1 is a double hitter with actually a 40% chance of placing stun on each hit, which is kind of insane. He also has a chance of decrease in 10 meter as well on each hit, so the double hit A1 is already kind of nuts. The A2 is an attack all enemies, chance of placing decreased speed. 100% chance, by the way. It's only weak version, but it's a 100% chance in a 3-turn cooldown. Not bad, and it's relevant that it has a 100% chance, because if you skip onto his passive, then he has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn to Bowsmith Flannan whenever this champ places decreased speed on 3 or more enemies with the A2. So it's just a 50% chance of getting an extra turn whenever he uses the A2, you know, and it's fully booked up against wave content. So that's crazy. And then he brings it's fairly weak-ish, the A3 ally attack, but it's a 4-turn cooldown, increase accuracy buff, then team up with a random ally to attack a target enemy. It might not seem that strong, but given how strong Flannan's A1 is, that it's a double hitter and has a chance to play stun, I think it's a little bit better than it seems. You know, it's got that bonus going for it. So, and if you happen to team up with one of your big damage dealers, then it's even better, you know, like big bonus. So, oh, and he's defense based, so he's tanky and easy to keep alive as well. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Flannan's got a hell of a lot going for him, man. I really like him.
The reviews are crazy. I had no idea about this champ. I think it's also worth noting that before we started shooting this video, Cobb and I had a conversation, and I was left with the impression, listen, I made my picks, and my picks were mostly non-voids, because I'm thinking, oh, we're going to talk free-to-play champions today. We're going to talk easily accessible champions today, and then Cobb, my man, made a very good point. There are some factions where you just can't get by not choosing rares.
Voids, yeah.
And, you know, you're going to see soon, absolutely very soon, we're probably going to have our next example of this. So, I get to choose non-voids, he gets to choose voids. combining
Right,
our
right.
forces here. We're moving on to the Shadowkins, you guys. This is
God,
it's
yeah.
oof, right?
Oh god, yeah, I'm first. Oh god, I was just waiting. Ooh, what's she gonna pick? You know, but no, it's actually me. Bloody hell.
Right.
You know what, man? You know what? I'm gonna put you in a rough position because I think that there's only like 2 options here. And I'm gonna talk smack about one of them before I make my pick. I think Adachi is a piece of crap, and I think people overrate him like crazy. People always pick Adachi as like, oh, he's the best Shadowkin Rare, he's the best Shadowkin Rare. None of them are good. Let's just establish that right away, right? None of them are particularly good. But I think Adachi, for some reason, gets a pass because he has like a low land rate provoker as A1 or something. It brings like some tiny amount of survivability to the team, but he just doesn't... I don't know. I don't like the guy, personally. Cue the dislikes on your video. You can thank me for that, baby. My pick is gonna be... my pick is gonna be Life Taker. Not because I think that she's great, but because I think if you're desperate for an option to get you started in Firenite in the super early game, and you're like stuck on stage 10 Firenite or something, you know, and you want to get like stage 16, you can level it to 50. She brings a double hit at A1, triple hit at A3, which when fully booked, each hit has a chance to decrease in 10 meter by 10%, so that's good. And the third hit also has a 75% chance booked, replacing strong decreased speed. Sucks if it doesn't land. But most of the time, it's going to do the job and help you progress into Firenite, as I bash the hell out of my microphone stand. I hope that didn't get picked up. But yeah, Life Take is going to be my
No.
pick.
Why you do me like this, man? You forgot to mention that she has a reflect damage and a veil
Oh, yeah.
on herself. It is on herself. But I mean, I guess. I wouldn't take it back. Honestly, from all of them, man, Life Taker might have something going for her. I recently met with a vagabond on someone's account. I was like, interesting champion. But I have to go back and check what she does exactly. Is she, right? First of all, what is she? What is this? What are we doing here? What, right? Her A2 has a 50% chance of placing a block buffs debuffer. What I'm seeing here, a block buffs debuffer 1 turn. You could take that up to a 3-turn cooldown, and you could budge that up to a 75% chance. I'll also fills the champion's turn meter by 15 and fills the turn meter of the ally with the highest turn meter by 15. So there you go, a little bit of a boost of your. Well, I guess if I combine that with my He-Man, it's gonna be my He-Man. It's just give a little bit of extra boost to the fastest champions. She fills the turn meters of all allies again by 15% and places a 25% increase attack buff on allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. It is a weak increase attack, but it is there. Yeah. And a little bit of sleep on her A1. So you could, I guess, take her for a little bit of help in places. But again, the Shadowkins are just, man, disappointing. I expected more. When I was researching, I expected more.
Yeah. I'm actually just looking at Red Cloak Taneko as well. Like, she's a fairly new Shadowkin rare champ that was added. Maybe we haven't given her her dues. Maybe double hit at A1, chance to steal a tiny amount of the target's 10 meter. Attack all enemies, chance of decreasing 10 meter of enemies by 15%. Like, she's pretty okay as well, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty okay as well. Oh my god, hang on, she should have been our pick. What do we look at this A3? It's a 310 cooldown.
Wait, she strips a buff from each
like
enemy,
310 cooldown. 75% chance of placing. Oh, it's only weak version decreased speed. So even that's not that amazing, but okay. I mean, maybe she's all right.
For the buff strip, I mean, I don't know. It's just one random buff. I guess she's on par with Life Taker. I'd put her even on the same.
Yeah. It's kind of tough choices, the Shadowkin, but
tough pick, man. Yeah. Let's leave them alone. Let's let them rest.
And you're up.
Oh, I am up. I'm a little conflicted here. Okay. Originally, I think I was gonna pick Candleguard. Originally, because she's cool. We might touch upon her in a second, but I'm gonna go for Aver, the Alchmage, and I'm gonna elaborate on why. First of all, he's a rare dwarf healer, which dwarves don't have a lot of these. They don't really have a lot of healers, guys. He fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% on that same heal. The heal is based off his max HP, which is what we need in a healer, and it is on a 4-turn cooldown, so this is quite nice. He comes with a weak decrease attack and a weak decrease speed. For targets that are under poison debuffs, which poison he brings himself on an A1. It is a 30% chance once you book that out. It's a how much? 45? That's niche. Why not 50? I was confused by this. But I mean, I'm not gonna say no to that either. And I really like the fact that he drops his staff in his animation. I don't know why they decided to keep that, but it's very endearing and it's winning me over. It's
Yeah, I actually
working.
used this guy in my faction wars on my free-to-play account. V is actually pretty good. Like he has surprised me at how decent he is in faction wars. Especially like you said, until you get a better healer like a Demither or like one of the epic options, or like Dazdirk or something, you know. Until you get like a better guy for the job. But yeah, the dwarves actually have, like, we're kind of spoiled for choice now with the dwarves. Like Master Butcher's great. One of the cheat code champions, Candle Guard, you already mentioned. Great Nuka. Apparently Madman has like a cult following as well. Like some people really like Madman's modifiers and say he smacks.
Really?
Yeah, I've never built him myself. I don't think I believe in him. But, you know, there's people out there that do. But because I can pick the voids, I'd love to go with Dilgol. He doesn't get as much spotlight as he should, but I have to go with Kerzad. I mean, Kerzad's one of the better rare champs in the game, and given that I'm allowed to pick the voids, I'm going to go ahead and snap him up. His A1 is a double hitter. No, it's not. It's a single. Yeah, hang on. It is a double hitter if the attack is a crit. Forgot about that component. The extra hit always places strong version decrease speed for a couple of tenths. Amazing. Very, very reliable stuff. Then you build him in a stun set the rest of the way, and then he's got a couple of attack all enemy skills. The A2, each crit fills 10 meter by 7.5%. And then on the AoE on the A3, it's an increased accuracy buff on all allies and chance of placing weak decreased defense for a couple of tenths on all enemies. Takes a lot of bucks. Doesn't really need them, to be honest. You're not really bringing him for the debuffs on his A3. Forget about those. The decreased speed's already 100% land rate anyway on the A1, and that's the most important one to be landing against things like Iron Twins and stuff like that. So, and then against wave content, yeah, he brings all of the stuns, man, because of the AoE hits. So, Kerzad has got to be my pick for the dwarves, man.
I love him. I have him in my faction wars team as well, and he carries.
Yeah, he's insane.
Absolutely. We're moving on. We're moving. Knights Revenants, man.
And it's me.
What do we got here? And it is you.
Oh god, you know what? I think the Void champions and the Knights Revenants are like uniquely not good apart from Renegade, who I am actually going to be building on my main account quite soon for Phantom Shogun's purposes, but more on that in the future on my own channel. They've got some good options here. You know what? I think I will go with Renegade, actually, just so that I take one of the Voids out of the pool. Renegade, yeah, Hera 3 is just like a legendary skill. Except, I mean, she takes the penalty of taking some of her own health as damage, but it's one of those skills, it's on a 5-turn cooldown, decrease the cooldown of all ally skills by 2 turns. This skill does not affect this champion, of course. This champion also receives damage equal to 30% of her max health, and she can actually self-delete from this A3 as well, so you've got to be careful with that. But you can use Renegade to create like super fast dungeon clear teams where you're resetting the cooldowns on things like Cold Heart's Big Smack and Royal Guard's Big Smack and all the max HP damage dealers. Love to have a Renegade on the team. But you can also build her out for Phantom Shoguns with a ridiculous amount of health and crit damage in a regeneration set, and she will tank the crap out of the Phantom Shogun's boss. And this is a dungeon that not a lot of people like to build champion teams for, so taking a niche champion like Renegade and putting her in this really wacky high crit damage build so the boss always focuses her, it's just a really good idea because you might not be planning on using her in many other areas of the game. So I think that for the niche role that she fulfills, she's kind of unreal. So and very, very unique as well. So I think that should be my pick. She's a weird one, you know.
She's a weird one, but I like especially that sacrificial ritual.
Crazy.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy for a rare. I am conflicted. I have a sentimental bond with Torx because it was one of the first Knights Revenant champions that I pulled, the rares. Is he even a free farm? Am I mistaken? Maybe I am mistaken. I think I pulled
Yeah, I think
him.
he's a pull, yeah.
Don't remember how I got my hands on a Torx, but he was one of my first, and that provoke has been just saving my ass. And he also brings a block damage on himself if the incoming damage exceeds 20% of his max HP. And he this is the champion that counterattacks when hit by an enemy under provoke. And I was wondering earlier, I had a flashback of Torx. So there you have it. He haunts me even in my thoughts. But I don't think I'm gonna pull. I don't think I'll focus on Torx. I think I'm gonna shout out Asalite, just because Torx is just great. But I don't think Asalite gets enough attention, man. He's got okay, hear me out. And his A3 comes with a debuff strip on all allies for 4 turns, and it has no conditionality. It just happens, which is cool. A2 has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's 3 meter by 50%, and that is 100% once you book it out. It's not that many books either. And on his A1, it fills his turn meter by 25%.
Wow,
so
man.
interesting, very maybe niche by himself, but I think if you put the resources in Astolat, he could actually surprise. He could overcompensate
Yeah.
for what you. We're reading this here, but I think that he could clutch more than.
Yeah,
than
I've
he
never
seems.
actually really taken the time to consider his kit before. I was looking at his cooldowns and think, cooldowns are a little bit long, but that 10 meter fill on the A1 is no joke. That's not a small 10 meter fill, you know? That's pretty good. I was just laughing for just a second
Yeah.
because I looked at his reviews again. He's like 5-star everywhere. Well, not really, you know, but
Oh, that's true.
yeah, people are like, oh yeah, Hydra 5, Chimera 5, you know, he's got one of those cult followings, apparently. Yeah, good old Acolyte, man. Yeah.
He's a charming man. Alrighty, next. Oh, this is a tough one. Well, not really, actually.
Oh yeah, there's some juicy picks in Dark Elves. You're up, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, since I'm not going for voids, I'm just gonna shoot for the obvious here. Kale is the best the best starter
Yep.
champion. He is the best starter champion. By far, maybe the best. No, I wouldn't say he's the best rare poisoner per se, but he's really good at it. Okay, so his poison comes in his A1 here on an 80% chance. You book that out, it's a 100% land rate. On his A2, he has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical that's on an AoE, and he fills the turn meter of himself. By 25% for each enemy killed. And on his A3, that is that's a quadruple hitter with a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff. When you buck that out, that's a 50% chance on a 4-turn cooldown. Kill just obliterates campaign. He's absolutely the best starter champion to pick in the game. And I leave the stage to you because we both know who the best Dark Elf champion is.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to
man.
pick the voids, yeah. Another thing I do want to throw in about Kale as well that I didn't consider till recently on my free-to-play, because like you're much more desperate for options on your free-to-play accounts. And so on his A2, because he gets 10 meter for each enemy killed, like for early spider progression, Kale is so good. He gets like a full 10 meter bar for just killing all of the spiderlings, so it basically gives him an extra 10 after using Acid Rain, you know? So, yeah, I mean, he's insanely good. God, given that I'm alive, there's so many good picks in the Dark Elves. I really want to mention like a hipster champ like Judge or like Paragon, you know, like good like hipster champ. But I mean, it's ridiculous if I don't mention Cold Heart as the best, and so fine, we'll talk about Cold Heart again for like the 20,000th time on YouTube, you know. But I mean, a quad hitter A1 is just a joke. I mean, she'd be insane without a quad hitter A1, but she has a quad hitter A1, so just is what it is. Attack all enemies A2 with heal reduction. Doesn't place heal reduction, places the decrease in accuracy, debuff, and poison if the tank is under heal reduction. And then the infamous A3, 410 cooldown, delete a boss. I might as well just say, decrease the target's 10 meter by 100%, extra 30% chances of inflicting a crit, meaning she's easier to build out. Just build her with 70% crit chance, she'll do the rest, and then you can just focus on building a stupid amount of crit damage and hitting accuracy checks and stuff, and yeah, I don't know, man. Cold Heart's she's just a joke. She's just ridiculous. But I will give a special shout out to Painkeeper before I go, because Painkeeper, if you've got her, even in the early game, she might not seem that amazing for you, but because of her A3, decreasing the cooldown of ally skills and a 410 cooldown, just hold on to her, keep her in your vault. If you pull anything like a Man-Eater or whatever, she can be a key component in an unkillable clan boss team. Which I'm looking to build on my free-to-play account very soon. I did pull the Man-Eater, and I have the Painkeeper ready, and I'm ready to start building an unkillable team finally on my free-to-play account. So, yeah, she's one of those to keep, even if you're not using her actively, you know.
Hell yeah, partner. Let's continue. Let's keep moving to the undeads. And here we have a bunch of options as well, man. We do have a bunch of options to choose from.
It's me.
Yeah, it is you. I'm not sure if you're gonna go for what I think you're gonna go for. I'm curious.
Well, I always have the option of going for a void and giving you an easy time, or I can pick what I think you're gonna pick and give you a tough time. I mean, yeah, I could go for Doomscreech in the voids. I'm not going to, but he gives like great 10 meter fill, and it's like one of those good like budget option go first champions for like early game arena and stuff. But besides that, he gets kind of power scaled and power crept quite quickly by better options. Bloody hell, I mean, it's either Frozen Banshee, Frozen Banshee or normal Banshee. I could go for Grinner because he's a rare reviver, but I'm not going to because I've been picking rare revivers all day. I'm gonna go with Banshee. you know what, I'll go with the hipster pick. I'll go with Banshee just because
With
I
actual Banshee.
love stun set
Ooh.
champions. I don't know, man. Like, I love champs that you can just get so much more out of just by tweaking their builds, and Banshee is one of those. She has an attack all enemies on the A1, places weak decreased defense. She also has an attack all enemies A2 with a chance of removing a random buff from each target, and then the A3 is an attack 2 times at random, chance of placing block active skills. So, and that's on a 310 too. And the amount of wave control that she can bring for such a cheap champion to build, just level her to 50 and get her moving fast in a stun set, and she'll do the rest, you know. I think that she's worth a shout out, and she doesn't get the she doesn't quite get the respect that she deserves. I think so. I'll make her my pick.
Honestly, I haven't even heard about people like hyping her up, so I'm excited to hear that you have some good things
She's
to say
good.
about Banshee. Do I go for Frozen Banshee just because like it's the obvious choice, I think? Because Frozen Banshee, I think, is the best poisoner, the best rare poisoner
Yeah.
in the game, arguably. I have to talk about her for a little bit, but I'm gonna shout out another champion in a
Okay.
second because I want to. Let's talk about Frozen. Frozen attacks one enemy twice. Each hit has an 80% chance of placing an 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under poison sensitivity, which she does bring on her A3. She places it on a 25%, 25% poison sensitivity for 2 turns on a 3 turn. Is that a 3 turn? Yeah, that's a 3 turn cooldown. That's great. And she fills the turn meter of all allies by teeny weeny 2% for each debuff on the target. So if you stack enough poisons on the target, on the boss, I mean, you could get a good turn meter fill out of it. But pair Frozen Banshee with just another poisoner or like another poison sensitivity champion, or you do watch them smack. For example, you can pair her with the Grave Chill Killer here, and they make a great duo. Frozen Banshee might outclass Kale as a poisoner. She
Yeah, I
might.
think that's a fair shout. I think that she does, to be fair, just because of the poison sensitivity. The only thing about Banshee is that she's only really useful into Demon Lord Clan Boss. Like, you can take her into Dragon, I guess, but she's worthless against the waves until you get to the Dragon, you know, so...
Hear me out. I saw a build video of her soloing Ice Golem. Soloing Ice Golem. So I believe that she's up to a lot more than we
Oh
give her
God.
credit for. And quick shout out Corpulent Cadaver for this crazy A1. Because his A1 had to be nerfed. Otherwise people used him in some crazy compositions where he dealt
Yeah.
crazy damage. Because his damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield that he places on himself. And it cannot exceed 200,000, which is like, it means that at some point it
Yeah.
has. And I cannot imagine what that must
Yeah.
have been. But for whoever was at the here at the time of Corpulent Cadaver's pre-nerf phase, you're a lucky guy, and I envy you.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I mean, like, imagine pairing Corpulent Cadaver, like old Corpulent Cadaver with like a Wixwell, like infinity shield stacking, and I mean, you'd be hitting for tens of millions in no time, you know? Be ridiculous.
Who's next? Oh, the Demon Spawns. Lovely stuff. I'm conflicted between 3, but I'm gonna shout out a champion that I didn't know hit as hard as she does. Yeah, I could go for a Diabolist, right? Because she's free, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna talk about Marquez for a little bit. Marquez is a really hard-hitting defense champion, according to my homework. Now, her A1 brings a weak decrease attack debuff for 2 turns, which is okay. It's on a chance. It's fine. Her A2 attacks all enemies with the chance of placing a weaken debuff for 2 turns, but she deals extra damage to the enemies with the weaken, and her A3 has a 75% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn, which is 100% landable once you book her out. But what I noticed about Marquez, she's a defense champ, and her multipliers, again, are crazy. They are crazy. I don't know if they account in the game. People have tested her out and they can stand behind the multipliers that I'm reading, but we're talking about good smack here. And unsurprisingly so, you wouldn't expect from Marquez.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the multipliers in the A2. I remember reading about this as well. I'm just looking it up now on Hell Hades. The first hit has a multiplier of 4.6, which is pretty high for an attack all enemy skill. Of course, she has quite low base defense, like the damage is based on defense. Her base defense is quite low because she's a red champion, so you still got to gear her out pretty well to get her really smacking. But 4.6 is pretty good, and the second hit, like the deals extra damage, is like a second hit with a 3 modifier, which is pretty good as far as like an extra hit goes. So yeah, she can be built out to be a crazy devastating nuker. Yeah, I think I covered it like a couple months ago actually in like a sleeper res video or something. Yeah, she's an interesting one. God, and as for my pick, you know, because I can go for the Voids, I could just go for Fellhound. I'm not going to, but I could just go for Fellhound because of his crazy campaign farming speed, and you can just, you know, build him for that one job, and then you never have to worry about it ever again, and that's great. I think I'm actually going to go for Diabolist. I know you mentioned Diabolist. I think that she's great. I think that she's actually way underrated by way too many people. Early game of your account, when you need an increased speed champion, you've got the choice most of the time. Unless you pull a better option, you've got the choice between Diabolist and Haikatoon. And Diabolist is infinitely easier to build out because you can farm copies of the champion in campaign, and so getting her fully booked is very, very easy. And I think, I might be wrong about this, but I think she's the only rare or epic champion in the game for the Demon Spawn faction that brings a strong increased speed buff. That's really valuable. Yeah, like for like a budget option, that's really, really valuable, man. For like all wave content as well. And you consider the A3, which is a 10 meter fill and an enemy 10 meter decrease, which, you know, can't weak hit because she's just decreasing 10 meters. Like she's not attacking and then decreasing 10 meters, so it can't weak hit. It's a 410 cooldown, sure, but if you just build the Diabolist up to level 50 in the early game, she's probably going to be worth building out for that reason. And yeah, I think she's just slept on because she's so accessible, you know, and especially players who've been playing the game for a long, long time, I think often forget how valuable it is having these kind of, what would you call it, like progression champs, you know, that are very easy to get, that just kind of get you through, get you to stage 20 of a dungeon for the first time, you know. Yeah, Diabolist has got to be my pick, man. I've got to give her some love. I was tempted to say Abyssal, but I'll stick with Diabolist.
I think people get like desensitized to Diabolist because you get so many of her in Brutal in Brimstone Path because you're just farming for food there constantly. So you just get like 15 of her every week, and then you don't think about her too much. But yeah, totally, she's so easy to build out. Absolutely. I think we have just come to a end of our list, and you guys, if you want to watch part 2, you should go and head over to Cobb's channel. You can find the other video there. It's actually part 1, and you're currently watching part 2. Haha, gotcha. Bamboozled. Well, this was very fun, man, and I'm so happy that we got to do this and finish this ranking. You can find part 2 in the description box, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one. Bye!